Did you know that a walk you believe is saving your body can also strain it when you do it the wrong way? I'm Dr. Alina Serratia, and I see this often in adults over 50 who tell me they walk every day but still battle knee pain, fatigue, poor balance, or stubborn blood sugar swings. Today, I'm going to show you 7 walking mistakes that quietly steal strength, confidence, and independence. And I'll also show you how to fix them in a practical way. Stay with me, because the last correction is the one most seniors never hear from anyone. Comment below with the one symptom you feel after walking, whether that is knee pain, back tightness, heavy legs, or exhaustion. Research shows this matters more than most people realize. The CDC says more than 14 million older adults in the United States report a fall each year, and about 1 in 4 adults over 65 falls yearly. About 37% of those falls cause an injury serious enough to limit activity or need medical care. That is not just a bruise problem. That is a mobility, confidence, and independence problem. But here's the shocking part most people don't know. Many falls do not start with one big accident. They start with small daily walking habits that weaken the body over time. Walking should work like gentle medicine. It should help your heart pump better, your muscles stay awake, your joints move smoothly, and your brain keep track of balance. But when your walking pattern is off, your body pays the price step after step. Think of your walk like the alignment of a car. If the tires are angled wrong, the car still moves, but the damage builds slowly. Your body does the same thing. Here's what happens when your pace, posture, footwear, or recovery are wrong. The stress spreads from your feet to your knees, then up to your hips, spine, and even your confidence. Research shows physical inactivity raises the risk of early death. And the World Health Organization says adults who are not active enough have a 20 to 30% higher risk of death than adults who move enough. After age 60, inactivity rises in both men and women. That matters because the body loses muscle, nerve speed, and balance reserve with age. If walking is the main exercise you do, it has to be done well. If it is done poorly, it may reinforce weakness instead of reversing it. Comment below with your age and how many days a week you walk, because I read every single one. Let me tell you about Margaret. She was 72, proud, independent, and walked every morning around her block. She came to me convinced that walking itself was hurting her because her knees ached by breakfast and her low back tightened before lunch. Over the next year, Margaret tried what most people try. She bought random shoes on sale, slowed down, shortened her route, and rested more. None of that solved the real problem. She started shuffling to avoid discomfort, stopped swinging her arms, and leaned forward from her waist. By evening, she felt drained. She told me she was beginning to fear stairs. That fear mattered as much as the pain because it started shrinking her world. When we looked closely, the issue was not walking. It was how she walked. Her shoes were soft and worn. Her first steps were cold and stiff. Her head stayed down, and her stride became tiny. I asked her to try a short warm-up, supportive shoes, a taller posture, and a slightly brisker but safe pace. Within 3 weeks, Margaret reported less morning stiffness and longer, smoother walks. Within 2 months, she climbed church steps without gripping the rail. Her walking did not cure aging, and I would never say that, but it gave her control back. Comment knee pain if this sounds familiar, and tell me your age as well. Now, this is important. Before I give you the fixes, you need to know what makes the problem worse. Mistake number 1 is starting your walk cold. Here's what happens when stiff muscles and sleepy joints get loaded too fast. Your calf, knee, and hip have to absorb force before they are ready. That raises the chance of pain and unstable steps, especially early in the morning when the body often feels less flexible. But here's the shocking part most people don't know. Those first 5 minutes often shape the whole walk. If you begin with short, guarded steps, your body may stay in that protective pattern the entire session. That means less hip extension, less arm swing, and poorer balance practice. I have watched many seniors blame the whole walk when the real trouble began in the first 60 seconds. Mistake number 2 is wearing the wrong shoes. The CDC's 2024 footwear guide warns that older adults do better with sturdy shoes, low heels, traction, strong heel support, and laces or straps that hold the foot in place. Here's what happens when the shoe is too soft, too loose, or too slippery. Your foot slides, your ankle works harder to stabilize you, and your brain gets less reliable feedback from the ground. But here's the hidden disaster. Many seniors save their comfortable old shoes long after the soles are worn smooth. The CDC also warns against socks alone, high heels, backless shoes, and shoes with no ankle support. One of my patients, Peter, kept wearing backless clogs because they felt easy to slip on. After switching to a secure walking shoe, he told me he instantly felt more planted and less wobbly. Mistake number 3 is walking bent over, staring at the ground, or looking down at a phone. Here's what happens when your chest collapses and your head drifts forward. Your lungs have less room to expand, your neck and back muscles tense up, and your legs shorten their stride. A small step can feel safe, but too much shuffling reduces the body's natural rhythm. But here's the shocking part. A shuffling walk can train your nervous system to expect instability. That can feed balance problems instead of correcting them. Research on gait in older adults consistently links slower, weaker, less confident walking with worse function. Most seniors don't know that posture is not just cosmetic. It is a balance tool. Mistake number 4 is believing one daily walk cancels out 10 hours of sitting. Research shows long periods of sitting are linked with worse health outcomes, even in adults who try to exercise. Here's what happens when you take a morning walk and then stay seated most of the day. Your blood sugar rises more after meals, your hips tighten, your glutes switch off, and your circulation slows again. But here's the hidden disaster most people do not see until later. The body adapts to what you do most often. If you walk for 30 minutes but sit for 10 hours, your body still rehearses sitting more than walking. Let me tell you about Arthur. He was 68 and proudly hit his morning route every day. Yet by afternoon, he felt stiff, sleepy, and unsteady when standing up from his recliner. Arthur thought he needed longer walks, so he pushed harder each morning. That only left him sorer. When we reviewed his routine, the real issue was the long, silent block of sitting after breakfast, lunch, and dinner. He had one healthy habit sitting inside a much larger, unhealthy pattern. I asked Arthur to keep his main walk, but also stand and move for a few minutes every hour and add short walks after meals. Within 4 weeks, he said getting out of chairs felt easier. Within 2 months, he had more energy in the evening than he had felt in years. Comment, I'm guilty, if you have been doing any of these, because you are about to learn how to fix them. Let's move into the solutions, and I want you to stay with me because the next one will surprise you. Number 5 is to warm up before you truly walk. Do you know what happens when you march in place? Roll your shoulders, rise onto your toes, and take easy steps for 3 to 5 minutes. Your joints get lubricated, your muscles receive more blood flow, and your balance system wakes up before the real load begins. Research shows older adults need movement that supports strength and balance, not just distance. The CDC recommends at least 150 minutes of moderate activity each week, plus muscle strengthening on 2 days, and balance work as well. A warm-up is not busy work. It is the bridge between sitting and safe motion. In practice, I tell patients to start with 1 minute of ankle pumps, 10 sit-to-stands, shoulder rolls, and then an easy first block before picking up pace. Let me tell you about Denise. She was 75 and loved walking with friends, but she dreaded the first 10 minutes. Her calves burned, and she felt as if her feet could not find the ground. She assumed this was just age. We changed only one thing first. Before each walk, Denise stood at her kitchen counter, marched lightly, lifted her heels, and did gentle trunk turns. After 2 weeks, she told me the scary stiffness at the start almost disappeared. After 6 weeks, she said she no longer needed to stop at the first corner. That is the power of preparing the body instead of surprising it. Number 4 is to choose a safe, supportive shoe and pay attention to your feet. Here's what happens when you walk in a shoe with a firm heel, textured sole, secure closure, and enough room in the toe box. Your foot stays centered, your ankle wastes less energy correcting wobble, and your push-off becomes more stable. That can reduce the small sideways motions that irritate knees and hips. A CDC Foot and Footwear Guide from 2024 points out that foot pain, bunions, toe deformities, weak calf muscles, reduced ankle flexibility, and nerve damage can all raise fall risk. That means foot problems are not minor. They are mobility problems. If you have burning feet, numbness, or foot pain, do not ignore it. Ask your clinician or a podiatrist to look. The right shoe size later in the day, when feet are a little fuller, often works best. Let me tell you about Robert. He was 79 and kept saying his shoes were fine because they felt soft. In truth, the soles were worn smooth, the heels were uneven, and his right big toe drifted inward from a bunion. He had not fallen, so he thought nothing was wrong. But here's the shocking part. His body was already compensating. He leaned to one side, cut his walks short, and gripped furniture when he turned quickly at home. After a foot check, better fitted shoes, and simple calf and ankle work, he felt steadier in 10 days. A month later, he told me he stopped reaching for walls. Comment shoes. If you know yours are old, because this alone changes many walks. Number 3 is to walk taller and use your arms. This is where many people get immediate improvement. Here's what happens when you look ahead, relax your shoulders, keep your ribs stacked over your hips, and let your arms swing naturally. Your trunk rotates better, your stride can lengthen, and your body shares work across more muscles instead of dumping it into the knees. Research from Scientific Reports in 2024 looked at healthy older adults using arm swing rhythm training. After brief sessions, stride length rose by about 6.8% and walking speed increased about 4.9%. That does not mean you need a robot or fancy device. It means arm rhythm matters. But here's the shocking part. Many seniors freeze their arms because they feel safer that way, when in fact, gentle arm swing can support rhythm and stability. Number 2 is to make some of your walking intentionally brisk, not reckless. Let me be clear. I am not asking you to race. I am asking you to avoid the mistake of strolling so slowly that your body never receives a training signal. A 2025 PLOS-1 study from the University of Chicago followed 102 pre-frail and frail older adults in retirement communities. Those who raised cadence by about 14 steps per minute above usual pace to around 100 steps per minute improved functional capacity more than those walking at casual speed. Here's what happens when you safely raise pace for short periods. Your heart works a little harder, your leg muscles demand more oxygen, and your nervous system practices stronger, more confident steps. If you are very deconditioned, start with 30 to 60 seconds of brisker walking, followed by easy recovery. Over time, aim for repeated short bursts inside your normal walk. Before I reveal the number 1 solution, tell me which of these surprised you most in the comments. Number 1 is to stop thinking of walking as a single event and start using it like medicine across the day. This is the biggest change for blood sugar, stiffness, and energy. Research in diabetes care found that 10 inactive older adults at risk for impaired glucose tolerance improved 24-hour glucose control with both sustained walking and 3 15-minute post-meal walks. But the post-meal walks were even better for lowering the dinner glucose spike. Here's what happens when you take short walks after meals and break up sitting. Your muscles pull sugar from the blood, circulation improves, your hips stay looser, and your body keeps practicing balance over and over. A 2025 Lancet Public Health Review found that compared with 2,000 steps a day, 7,000 steps a day was linked with a 47% lower risk of all-cause mortality, a 38% lower risk of dementia, and a 28% lower risk of falls. That tells us more movement across the day matters. Let me tell you about James. He was 81, proud of his single afternoon walk, but his blood sugar and evening fatigue stayed stubborn. We kept his main walk, added 10-minute walks after meals, and had him stand up every hour. Within 2 weeks, he felt less sleepy after dinner. Within 2 months, he said his legs felt younger at night than they had in the morning before. Let me tell you about Evelyn. She was 64, newly retired, and thought her slow, careful shuffle was protecting her arthritic knees. In reality, it was making her more fearful. We worked on posture, arm swing, and tiny bursts of brisk walking. She did not become pain-free overnight, and I never promised that, but she became steadier, more upright, and confident enough to rejoin her gardening club after 6 weeks. Here's what makes this powerful. These solutions stack on top of each other. A warm-up prepares the joints. Good shoes improve contact with the ground. Tall posture and arm swing improve rhythm. Brisk intervals train function, short walks after meals, and less sitting keep the benefits alive through the day. This is not about doing one heroic thing. It is about letting each small choice support the next. A simple morning could look like this. At breakfast, eat protein, fiber, and fluids. Then take a 10-minute walk. At lunch, stand up first, reset posture, and walk again for 10 minutes after eating. In the evening, do your main walk with a 3-minute warm-up, 5 short brisk segments, and a gentle cool down. If you want a sample, think eggs and oats in the morning, a bean or chicken lunch, and a vegetable-rich dinner, because steady energy makes steady walking easier. The next one will surprise you because it sounds almost too simple. On days when you feel tired, do not cancel movement completely. Shrink it. 5 careful minutes after meals, 1 minute of posture reset, and a few sit-to-stands still teach the body something useful. Research shows consistency beats rare heroic effort. Comment consistency if you need a plan you can actually keep. One more thing matters. Hydration changes walking quality more than many people expect, especially in heat. Older adults often feel thirst later, not sooner, so mild dehydration can sneak up on them. Here's what happens when you begin a walk underhydrated. Heart rate rises faster, fatigue arrives earlier, and balance can feel less reliable. I usually tell patients to sip water through the day and check urine color, especially in summer. Comment hydration if you forget to drink before walks on warm morning days. Now, this is important. There are special cases. If you have chest pain, severe shortness of breath, new dizziness, a foot ulcer, sudden calf swelling, severe neuropathy, or repeated falls, do not just push through. Always consult your healthcare provider if you have heart disease, advanced arthritis, uncontrolled diabetes, balance disorders, or take medicines that can make you lightheaded. If pain rises sharply during a walk and changes your gait, that is information, not weakness. Respect it. You also need to be careful with the number 2 solution if you are very frail or have not exercised in a long time. Brisker walking should feel purposeful, not panicked. You should still feel in control. Some people need a physical therapist, supervised program, or walker adjustment before changing pace. And if you have numb feet, bunions, or toenail pain, fix the foot problem first. Safety is not optional. It is part of progress. So let's bring this home. Walking after 50 is still one of the best tools you have, but only if you avoid the mistakes that silently drain its benefit. The 7 big mistakes are starting cold, wearing unsafe shoes, looking down too much, freezing your arm swing, moving too slowly all the time, doing one walk and then sitting for most of the day, and ignoring foot pain or balance loss. The good news is that the fixes are simple, affordable, and available to almost everyone. You now have the knowledge to make your next walk safer and more powerful. You do not have to accept stiffness, fear, or fading stamina as your normal future. Your body may be older, but it still responds to smart training, steady repetition, and better daily choices. Comment one of three things below: warm up, better shoes, or after meal walks. I want to know which change you will start today. If you want more doctor-guided videos that turn medical research into simple daily habits, subscribe and stay with me. On this channel, I help you protect mobility, memory, heart health, and independence without hype and without false promises. In the next video, I'm going to show you the morning balance mistakes that make falls more likely after 60. If this video helped you, share it with someone who needs this information. You might save their life.